Hi everybody, welcome to CompuScholar's Professional Development webinar for October 2019. Today we're going to be talking about a new feature of ours for auto-grading of your student projects. My name is Chris Hust, and most of you probably know me pretty well by this point if you've watched any of our previous webinars. So I do encourage you to contact me at any time if you've got questions that you think I can answer. So today again we're going to be talking about our new auto-grading feature, and right now that's present in our Python course, so we'll be focusing on some Python examples. We'll also talk about how this works or not in other deployments and other learning management systems, and we'll talk about some of our future expansion plans for this feature in other courses. Alright, let's hop right into the demonstration to get started. We'll look at the student experience as well as the teacher experience. Okay, I've logged into a test student account in the Python programming course, and I'm just going to go down into Chapter 6 and scroll down to the activity at the bottom. And students will access the online editor just by clicking on the activity link. Alright, so we're now looking at the editor that's made available by default to the student. And in some cases the activities will be completely blank to start with, and in other cases we might give some starter code for the students in order to get started. Now, what should the student be typing in here? That's a great question. And to find that out, we'll have to look at the activity instructions. So these are the activity instructions for Burger Castle, and of course, depending on the chapter and the activity, there might be a good number of detailed requirements that the students will need to follow. So I'm going to skip over all that. You can see there's plenty of examples here in terms of the steps the students need to take and the expected output, along with some checkpoints. A variety of test cases that the students can use to verify their code. And now, one of the important things is the rubric. So with our auto-graded projects, we provide a very detailed rubric, and you'll notice we can do things like inspect the code to make sure that certain variables were declared and initialized correctly. We'll make sure that loops were created, that certain functions were called. So we'll actually do an inspection of the student code itself. And then we'll actually run the program, sometimes with multiple test cases if appropriate, and check the dynamic output. So the students will want to keep this rubric in mind when they are following the activity instructions and verifying their output. So let's go back over here. And the student will type in their code in order to meet the activity instructions. It's a little known fact that I'm actually a super quick typer, so let me go ahead and type up the solution to this activity real quickly. There we go. And the student will save their work here. That will save their files into the system, and then the student can actually run their code to see the output. And so the student can actually run the code multiple times and make sure that their code meets all of the test cases and all of the requirements specified in the rubric. And when the student is completely done and they're confident in their work and they're ready to submit, they can click on Submission Status. And this Submit button will be available. So when they're ready to submit, click on the Submit button. And that will submit their program for grading. And the grade has actually already been proposed and is awaiting the teacher review for grading. So the reason that we do this is that we wanted to give our public and private school teachers some oversight into the grading as well. So the submission act on the student's part will actually calculate the grade and propose a grade, and then it's your job as a teacher to go in and approve that grade. Now once the student has submitted, if they go back to the edit page, they're not going to be able to resave their work. They can't change their work after they've submitted, and they will not be able to submit new work. Now you can change that as a teacher, and let's go ahead and switch over to the teacher account now and take a look. Okay, I've logged in as a teacher, and again let's go down to the activity link and click on that as a teacher. And you'll see that the submission is now showing up for the student, and surprise surprise, the student scored 100%. So you can click on the grade icon, and you can see a summary of all the test cases that were run. If any test cases passed or failed, you would see those here. And basically it's your job at this point just to click Save Grade. You can, however, actually change the student grade if you want to. So you have final authority over the grade. If you want to enter a new grade, just go ahead and type that new grade into the box before you click Save. So click Save Grade. And when you do that, that grade is actually flushed to the electronic gradebook, and you'll see that show up in the gradebook. So it's important to know that step is required on your part in order to push the grades to the gradebook. Now, what happens if the student didn't get a good grade, they didn't understand something, and you would like to allow them to resubmit for a new grade? Just click on Revise, and then Remove Grade. And that will delete the grade from the gradebook and delete the student submission. So let's close that window. And now the student submission is gone from your teacher's view. Let's go back to the student view. Okay, as a student, once the teacher has deleted the grade, we can come back into this page, and we are now allowed to resubmit again. So we can re-edit, resave, rerun, correct our work, and then come back and resubmit for a grade again. So that's the basic pattern of things. The student can edit their work, they can run and rerun until they're satisfied with the results, and again, pay close attention to that rubric, and then submit the code for grading. And then over on the teacher's side, it's just a matter of a couple of button clicks for you to either accept the grade and flush that into the gradebook, or to remove the grade and allow the student to reattempt the project. Now, you may be wondering as a teacher how you can actually run with the solution code yourself and kind of see it in action. So we're going to come back over here and click on the Activity Solution Guide. And as you can see, the Activity Solution Guide will have a live in-browser coding engine all set up with the solution code. So we can just come down here to the bottom, you can look at the solution code, and then go ahead and run it to see the results. So you can always come in here and actually take a look at the solution code and kind of experiment with it and see how it works on your own. So some of you may be curious about the test cases themselves. Let me pull up an example. So these are some of the test cases for the Burger Castle project. And by the way, this is an administrative view that you won't have access to as the teacher. So we're kind of showing you some of the internals here, but you will not be able as a teacher to view the specifics of the test case logic or modify them on your own. And there are a couple of different kinds of test cases. In one case, we're actually inspecting the source files again, and we're basically looking for regular expression matches on the source files. So if we tell the student to use a particular variable name, we will look for that variable name along with some other odds and ends depending on how it's supposed to be used. And so we can scan the source file a number of times looking for certain things in the code. And so if we're planning on doing that, then the rubric will be very clear about that. In other cases, we're actually looking for particular types of output. So we'll run those test cases, we'll actually run the program. We may provide certain types of input, like just a quit, and here's what we would expect on output, or maybe some slightly different input, here's what we would expect on output. So this gives us the ability to dynamically inject different types of input variables into the program and then inspect the results to make sure that the student program responds accordingly. Now, we tried to write these test cases to be as flexible as possible in most cases, so we tried to be tolerant of things like slightly different spacing and so on and so forth. If you believe that your students have followed the instructions and they're not getting a good grade and that there's a particular test case that is failing that should not be failing, please do contact us and let us know what's going on. We'll take a look at the student work, we'll take a look at the test cases, and if it makes sense to relax or tweak or change the regular expression that is parsing through the results or the student code, then we can certainly do that. So that, in a nutshell, is your student experience and your teacher experience with the AutoGrader. I'm sure you'll agree that's very, very different than having students work offline and submit files to you in some form or fashion and having you manually go through those files, run them to see if they are operational, and manually apply a grade. So let's talk for a moment about other learning management systems. Many of you are using CompuScholar's online system at learning.compuscholar.com. That's what we just demonstrated, and that's the location of our new auto-grading feature. Other school districts have chosen to deploy our courses in their own learning management system, so you might have your own Schoology or Canvas or Blackboard or some similar system, and you've actually imported our course material into that system. In that case, the auto-grading feature is not currently available for the 2019-2020 school year, so the auto-grading feature is tightly tied to our system for this year. However, we are working very hard in the background to change that. So we recognize that our partners that are using other learning management systems would certainly like to take advantage of the auto-grading feature, and we expect to have a deployable version of the auto-grader for 2020 and 2021 that would port into other learning management systems. Now, we can't guarantee out of the box that every learning management system will support this, but we believe that the major ones will. And if you have a particular system that you would like us to verify the support for, then certainly just drop us a note and we'll take a look at that. And the last thing I wanted to touch on today are some future expansion plans. So the Python course is fully auto-graded. Students will do all of their work in the web browser. They don't need to install anything locally at all if they don't want to, so they don't have to install Python or anything. And we're looking very seriously at our other courses to see how far we want to go with this feature, and Java programming is kind of first on the list. So we've already spread the in-browser coding engine into much of our Java course, and we are evaluating next year rolling out the auto-grading feature as well. That may actually include a pretty significant revision to the ordering and sequencing and topics in the Java course in order to facilitate the auto-grader. So a lot of the projects that are graphical in nature or that are based in the Eclipse IDE would have to be recast as something that can be done in the in-browser coding engine and that are auto-grader friendly. So we're kind of working through those things, and we expect to have more news on that in the summer of 2020. And then, of course, we would look at other courses as well, whether it's web design or C#, and see which of those additional courses would also work with the auto-grading feature. So this is something that we are excited about, and I hope you are too. If you have any questions about the auto-grader or any suggestions and feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Don't hesitate to reach out to me at my email address, or you can give us a call or find us through our website. Thanks for watching.